Good afternoon. This is your captain speaking. Kind of had a bit of a update for you guys. Super crazy to think about it, but so I'm at the part. I'm just in the middle of my course at this very moment. So I just we got to a section where we were talking about perspective, like camera perspective and things like that. And what occurred to me is that even with like the past troubles, even if you watched the video yesterday, um I was basically talking about how I couldn't really figure out the angle of how stuff was supposed to be. Like if using this diagram, right? I'm use red to mark it. So basically as a player, right? Like as a player, and this really wouldn't even be correct, honestly, if I really wanted to maximize space. But we're not gonna get into that. As a player, like shops like this, like these areas, right, are what I would designate as red zones, right? So these are shops where if there was a building here, there can be a building there, but an interactable building would not make sense because the player wouldn't know what this is, right? Like they couldn't see the front of the building, so it wouldn't necessarily they couldn't see the front door. No matter how the camera angle worked, you couldn't see the front door. And so I was thinking like in my first initial thought, I was thinking like, okay, you can rotate the camera and so you can see, do like a 360 so you can see all the shots and stuff. But in all honesty, that's not really a viable thing to do when making a game and trying to do more because you would have to add a button to rotate the camera and that wouldn't transfer well on mobile, right? Like I don't not I mean maybe, but not necessarily. I don't know the mechanics of it yet, so I'm not gonna think too deep about it. But the reason I'm saying that, oh, I mean, really, honestly, too, it would kind of suck because then it was kind of like, how would you layer that? It's just a whole bunch of things. Because basically, you would be turning a 2D game into a 3D game if you can rotate the camera. Because in order for that to make sense, so the camera has to be in one position. If I was to rotate the camera, I would have to remake these pixels. Like I would basically have to make the map upside down all over again to compensate for that. That's a lot of work. You feel me? Like, see, the more you learn, the more everything just kind of just makes sense. You know what I mean? In regards to just saying like you you and not actually before I even finish that statement, because it was a thought that came in. It just plagues me to say, just to reiterate what I was saying yesterday, in terms of you have to practice. Like you have to practice to get things done. You have to practice to understand the areas that you're in. You feel what I'm saying? Like you. So I mean I would have never. I would really went into that first iteration thinking like, oh yeah, this is easy. That makes sense. Blah 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 blah. But in actuality, it is not that easy, dog. It is not that simple. You know what I'm saying? Like it just does not make any sense to try to pursue something like that because again, this like I said, like at first I was thinking you could just kind of put it up because again, I'm also my mind is still kind of like I'm still fresh on Blender, so I'm still taking in Blender concepts, thinking like I can make that happen. But the more I do 2D, it's like, oh yeah, I would have to redo the entire map upside down for every angle. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have to do the map for every single angle. Like that's insane. And so it's just not viable, right? But back to this diagram. So because I want to finish up this class and whatnot. So, it's basically to say, right, these the blacks are buildings, right? Interactable buildings. Okay, this is a little high up. It's supposed to be like down here. It doesn't matter. The green is like shrubbery. So like green for me will represent like grass, shrubbery, things like that to, kind of fill out the scene. Like there's not too much interactable stuff, just it fills out the scene, right? And so the reds would be, this is red zones, right? So like if you're the player, you feel me? I made the dirt road just for you guys. So if you're like the player, right? You can walk down here. You can enter these shops, right? Because you can see these shops, so you can enter them. You feel what I'm saying? And then when you hit this corner, because it's at a 45-degree angle, you can still hit these shops, right? And then this would be like a red zone right here, but this could be transferred into another section of the game, right? So when you want to the screen would move basically. We're talking about everything on one screen, whatever the shot is on one screen, this is what you would be looking at. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just like, so you can access all these shops, right? But coming down here, like you couldn't see, you maybe, but not really. It wouldn't even make any sense. Perspective wise, it wouldn't make any sense. So you couldn't really necessarily see those, right? So you would have to skip that. You come down here, right? And then boom, you can hit these shops. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of crazy to me. And if I was smarter, this would not be at a 90-degree angle. It would be at a 45-degree angle. You know what I'm saying? It'd be hitting like this, so that you could at least get shops right here. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe one shop right here, right? And then again, like the player could travel the shops, and then go to another area, or travel these shops, go to another area, right? But they would never be able to see these ones. This would be basically just environment. This would just be environment shots, environment pictures, and stuff like that. So the only notable shops would be, I could design the city, like, and that was another thing too. Like I was thinking, like, damn, like when I was looking at RPGs and stuff like that, I don't think I've ever seen like a city landscape. And I was kind of worried because I was like, damn, like, what if I can't do like a city? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I can't do like a city shop and things like that? Because like, what if that landscape just doesn't make any sense for it? But when thinking of it in an asymmetric view, right, at everything in a 45-degree angle, it makes sense. So I could still build up the city and then have it access like this, right? So there would be rows where you could see, and then you can, when you boom, 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 or even like if it was the case, like let's just say, this was like thinner. You know what I'm saying? Like basically, this would be the back of the building, right? So you couldn't access the back of the building, but you can come around. You can access the front. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just looking at those perspectives and looking at and functions like that. It all makes a little bit more sense. So that was like a big break, and it's funny. And it's again, this is another thing I'm gonna reiterate back based on my old videos or the videos I've done before. Is like this is not a revolutionary thing. Like if you're in the industry, you already know this. You know what I mean? Like you already know these things that I'm speaking about. Like you probably would have figured it out the day you thought about the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you already have a mental concept of what you're getting yourself into. And that's why I want to make these videos, because it's just like it's moments like this where like this is a big moment for me to figure out that you can put the game in a 45-degree angle and it makes more sense as far as usable space and stuff, not necessarily straight top down and everything has to be on one flat area. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be necessarily that. And I know there's ways around it, but visually I didn't like that. I don't like the top down for what I want to get going. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, this is just a huge moment for me. And I think this like you're gonna have these moments when you go through all the different forms of your idea or your vision, like all the different stages that pop up. You're going to hit moments like this where it's a huge thing. Like of course you're trying to make a makeup brand or something like that. Of course a veteran in the makeup industry is going to know, 100 different combinations to make the color red. You know what I'm saying? But when you figure it out, it's a huge moment. This is a celebration. So like not necessarily a celebration 100% for me, but it's still a crazy moment. You know what I'm saying? Like even like the simple fact to say like um I was kind of going through the motions, and I've been looking up a little bit about like character designs and things like that. And I was kind of like, damn, yeah, because I have this huge, I got this thing. It's really a race against the clock. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a idea that I want to do in terms of I got thank you. Then I think I talked about this, a little sneak preview of what I had in mind. For my first 1,000 followers, like I want to make a short little animated video of all my characters that's going to be in the card game, right? And I want to put them all on screen, right? And then it's basically introduce the project, because I feel like at that point I should be on track to start making or working towards the game, right? And so I want to make that I want to make that video because I want to start promoting, like as I've sold in a couple of the videos. that that media transition for my project content wise is going to switch from static photos that I find on Pinterest and stuff that's not really original content to switch into pixel arts work, right? I want to do animated pixel art scenes and stuff like that. And when I go from, again, when I get to a certain milestone, I'm gonna always switch my, medium until I fully can touch on every single genre. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, genre media, pixel, 3D, 2D, um, stencil. I mean, everything. I want to be able to touch everything when it comes to, different forms of media and stuff like that. And so, um, this is gonna be huge. So again, you have to celebrate the small wins. You know what I'm saying? You have to celebrate those small moments, and this is a small moment for me. Like, this is huge. I can proceed with making the game now. Now I don't know how to make the game assets yet, so I think that's just going to be, um, these next couple videos are probably going to be me just mapping it out. Like, I'll probably just like map out where everything's supposed to go, in terms of like making the game and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you gotta start baby steps. You know what I'm saying? So I won't have full blown content. Something that you guys I know will love and enjoy. Not yet, but I mean, stick around. You'll probably see something crazy. So, that's all I really wanted to say. Again, I wanted to celebrate this win, but I wanted to tell you guys to celebrate your wins. All the time, celebrate your wins, no matter how small. You know what I'm saying? Your eureka moments are huge. You know what I mean? And I want you guys to really, fall in love with that because at the end of the day, we all do these things and I didn't even get political, man, but we do all do these things, right? Because we want different lives, right? You don't start a business because, you're satisfied with the way things are and you want to add this extra thing on top of it. You start a business because you want something else out of life. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's to get back, whether that's to make a lot of money, whether that's to get your family, out of certain situations, whether it's to find yourself freedom or find your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like you start businesses for a reason, right? And but at the end of the day, it's not the journey. I mean, it's not really it's not the destination. It's not like waking up one day and be like, "Damn, I'm rich." You know what I'm saying? It's the journey that it took to get you to that point. You know what I'm saying? Which is why this is, in a sense, a lifelong endeavor. When you find your purpose and you find the thing that fulfills you, it's like it becomes a lifelong endeavor because it's not necessarily like, "Oh, I want to have $1 billion." It's like, how did I get to that $1 billion? You know what I'm saying? And then what am I doing next? It's like, what's the purpose, and into all these things. And so I wanted to I just like I said, I wanted to jump on here and just talk about that. Celebrate your eureka moments. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate your moments, celebrate yourself, and just don't let anybody get you down. Continue to push forward and continue to do your best and make whatever you want to do a reality and make your dreams come true. So that was all I had to say today. I wanted to just jump on and say that I'm about to head back in class, but I'll have more content for you guys soon. Hopefully, by tonight, I'll start working on the design of these layouts and stuff like that, and then we'll go crazy. So, without further ado, this has been your captain signing out.